This is a special event. It is the Heisman Trophy of defense. It is the award that gives back to a side of the ball that doesn't get as much glory. Thank you, Charlotte.
What a high level of excellence Bronco Nagurski brought to the game. He's an inspiration to anyone who loves the game of football.
My football story is not about playing for the Carolina Panthers. My football story is from the time I was 5 years old. All I ever wanted to do was play for Wayne Hills High School in northern New Jersey.
I was a part of something, and the purpose of what we were working for was greater than any one of us.
We come out every day to compete, and the only way we can get better is we, compete against each other hard.
It's important to note that sometimes the signs that we ask for are right there in front of us. Win or lose, there was always a message in there. It's about what we do with the adversity we face.
You can have a dream, but you better be prepared for that opportunity.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's nothing is given. I mean, you have to earn everything.
Honored to be here today. You do such wonderful work. The funds you raise for scholarships around the area, that's wonderful.
A very heartfelt thank you to members of the Touchdown Club for your support of 16,000 plus students who you all are impacting annually. Studies show that GPAs and graduation rates are higher, absences and dropout rates are lower.
What I've learned in my life is you can accomplish anything in this world. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way.
But it's important that everybody in this room and beyond understands that it starts with us. You see these kids on the come up, you gotta let them know.
Football was a gladiator sport. Only gladiators played football.
Tonight, you are going to get a glimpse of excellence of our finalists and what they have brought to this game. Their dedication, passion, and brute strength, along with their ability to make key plays during crucial moments in big games.
The Football Writers Association of America and the Charlotte Touchdown Club are proud to present the 2020 Bronco Nagurski Trophy to Zaven Collins from the University of Tulsa.
Thank you to the Football Writers Association for presenting me this trophy and selecting me to be a Nagurski winner. Thank you to Charlotte Touchdown Club and Lending Tree for entrusting with me and putting my name on the trophy. It really means a lot to me.
Him winning this award is just a tribute to him, his family, our program, this university.
Growing up around the game, I have a deep and abiding respect for those who have paved the way. Bronco Nagurski was a true pioneer of our game.
All right, how's everybody doing? Y'all ready to talk some football? Absolutely, man. So great to see you in person. My name is Mick Mixon. To my left, your right is Jim Zoki, and we represent the youngest football team in the NFL, the plucky, ambitious, soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Carolina Panthers of the National Football League.
Write that down. That's quotable. That's quotable, right?
Now what? You heard it.
So we're taking a break from our broadcast OTAs and minicamp to be here with you today. We appreciate that. Of course, we have the great Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly here today. We'll be talking about Greg Olsen. Of course, he was supposed to be here, but we've been doing this by Zoom. Mick, it's been over a year. Isn't it great to be just in person again after over a year? Seeing people.
I know.
Shaking hands, getting a cold.
Even those of you who would look better with your masks on, we're still happy to see your smiling faces here. And our event, of course, is brought to you in part by Hickory Tavern and also Char Bar 7.
And did any of you catch our Joe Namath interview last month when we were doing that on the Zoom? Joe was great. Got to hear from his dogs and his grounds crew, which was blowing leaves in the background. Since we're still kind of in Zoom mode, if you don't mind, if you could mute yourselves while you're sitting here. And thank you in advance for wearing pants today. We appreciate all of you doing that today. And that's us, right? But we got to get to the important business of the Touchdown Club. And here to handle all that today from the Charlotte Touchdown Club, the Board of Directors, please welcome Rodney Broadnax, live and in person. Roddy.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the 2021 Charlotte Touchdown Club Luncheon Speaker Series. It's so great to see everyone live and in person, as Jim said. And we've got a fantastic program today featuring two of the Carolina Panther greats, Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. Yes. We'd also like to ask that you keep Greg Olsen and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Also, our sincerest appreciation and thanks goes to Brad Smith and Tyler Hager with Hickory Tavern and Char Bar 7. Not only is Brad on our board of directors and also our co-chair of the sponsorship committee, he's sponsoring today's lunch. But Brad and Tyler, thank you for all you do. So since I work on the marketing committee and sponsorship committee with Brad, I'd like to add, Brad, thank you for putting your money where your heart is. 2020 was a challenge for us all, but thanks to you, our sponsors, even in a worldwide shutdown, we're alive today. And so we're back for live action and some networking in the luncheon. So thank you again to all our sponsors. 2021 has been a great year so far. Last April, we had our virtual luncheon series with Joe Namath, which was quite entertaining. We had our auction. Today, we have our Panthers luncheon. And then next up is Chicago Bears' Mike Singletary, and then former NC State and San Diego Chargers quarterback, Phillip Rivers. We've got one last speaker to be announced, so stay tuned. It's going to be a big one. So we'll have that out to you soon. Please mark your calendar for December 6th and the Bronco Nagurski Awards Banquet at the Charlotte Convention Center this year, featuring University of South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer, and also back as MC Adam Zucker with CBS College Football Today. Go Cox. And speaking of Gamecocks, we'd like to thank Neil Salvage and Lending Tree for their continued support for the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, and also the Hertwig Family Foundation, who has come on board as our new sponsor for the Bronco Nagurski Legends Award. So thank you both. Last but not least, I'd like to thank our executive director, John Rocco, who really put it to the test in 2020. He worked closely with our sponsors, with our Speaker Series guests. He kept the club alive, and also, here's a great note, in 2020, our club supported more local athletic programs than any year in our existence, and that goes back to 1990. So Johnny Rock, thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy your lunch. It's a great program. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Roddy. I know Father John Hannock is here, so let's, Father John, if you can make your way up here to the podium of St. John's Church, and we'll get ready for lunch and ask a blessing with Father John. So it's been over a year since we've seen Father John Hannock. Looking like he's doing well. Let's hear it for Father John after all this time back with us.
Many thanks to the Charlotte Touchdown Club, John Rocco, and Andy Culasero for inviting me to be here today and to lead this prayer. It is truly a blessing for all of us to be here again. Let us pray. Gracious God, giver of life and lover of us all, these past months have impacted us and moved our hearts in new and difficult ways. Through all the pain, confusion, disconnects, and loss, you are always with us. We pray for all who have died because of sickness or violence. We pray we may remain open to the lessons and graces you offer us. We pray to be more responsive and loving, prayerful and hopeful as we continue our journey. Bless and heal all who are hurting. Grace us to be with them as you are with us. Bless the Charlotte Touchdown Club, all its members and sponsors. Bless our team, the Carolina Panthers organization, the players, family members, and friends. Bless those who graciously serve us today. May this nourishment in their service lead us to nourish and serve our sisters and brothers. In your name, amen. Thank you, Andy. Thanks.
Thank you, Father John. All right, folks, we've got the usual array after lunch. We've got some giveaways, a lot of Greg, Luke, and Thomas signed things. We have some special guests to introduce to you as well, and of course, Luke and TD. So enjoy your lunch. We'll check back in about 25 minutes or so.
want you guys to make sure you recognize our sponsors. It's a fantastic group of people that helps make all this fellowship possible. So the more than 300 sponsors and the Touchdown Club, or the 60 different sponsors rather, and they're highlighted on your video screen, so please pay attention to those. Thank you.
Special thanks to Crown Sports Sales and Rydell, their continued support of helmets and jerseys for the club's silent auctions throughout the year. Do we have raffle items, John? All right. Okay. John's going to zoom in the raffle items, apparently. We caught him off guard with our raffling of the items. Why don't we do it in reverse order, Mick, since they're getting the raffle items? Why don't you jump ahead to the centerpiece table giveaway while we're waiting for the raffle items?
Yes. On your table in the middle, there's a thing called a centerpiece. A piece in the middle of the table, the center, called a centerpiece. Now, the winner of the football centerpiece at your table is the person at each table that has the Carolina Panthers all-time greats action picture with a Panther sticker on the back that says, "You are the winner." So check yourselves and see who gets to take the football home. And please do not take the stand that the football is on. Congratulations, winners. Zoke.
All right. That was so easy. It just says you are the winner, and then you are the winner is how that works out. All right, so now get your raffle tickets out so we can match 4 prizes with our 4 raffle items here. And Sarah Baker is here to assist us. Say hello to Sarah, everyone. She's got your prizes. What are we doing?
And now Jim Zoke
are the actual
is
names
reaching.
on them? Okay. So we've got the first item is a football helmet autographed by Greg, Luke, and Thomas.
Zoke is reaching into the hermetically sealed container.
And our winner is Brent Bonner. Brent Bonner. Come on up and get your helmet.
Come on down.
Should we make him wear the helmet? Yes.
All right, keep it going. Keep it going, Zoke.
From TD. Next up, Panthers football autographed by Greg, Luke, and Thomas. Make this easier. All right, our winner is Luke Kuechly. Just kidding. It is Sam Reedy. Sam Reedy. All right, Sam, commit your football. Sam, I am. Right up front, Sam. All right, next item. Panthers picture autographed by Greg, Luke, and Thomas. See if we stay on the other side of the room, if we move it around. Morgan Houchard. Morgan Houchard. That side of the room is like, it's all tilting over here.
No, stir them up.
Well, it's not like it's the same person winning every time. Here, you pull one. Do something to help out.
Try to get this other side of the room going, Zoke. Here you go.
Oh, I got to read it? It's off season for Mick. He's making me do everything. 2019 Bronco Nagurski football autographed by the 5 finalists, including the great Derek Brown, Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, Antoine Winfield, and J.R. Reed, goes to Mike Grippo. Mike Grippo. All right, we started making our way here. If we had more prizes, you guys would have all won. It's just the way it worked out today. All right, congrats to all. Those are all of our winners, right?
That's right, and
That's
don't
it.
forget to place your bids on today's silent auction items. It is a tremendously rich assortment of items in the lobby outside of these doors, and the last bids will be taken 10 minutes following the conclusion of the luncheon. All the proceeds, every dollar, benefits the Charlotte Touchdown Club Scholarship Fund.
All right, and lastly, before we get to our highlight video and bring our 2 guests up, I want to say thank you to our special guest in attendance today. A warm welcome, if you don't mind standing up, all of you, of our high school and middle school coaches, athletic directors, and administrators. If you could all stand up today so we could recognize you. Thank you all for being here today.
Also, absolutely. Also, some others. Luminaries are everywhere. Don't be mad at us. We'll miss some, but Steve Israel, Mike Delaney is here. Dwight Stone, I heard a rumor that Stoney was here. We got Darren Gann of Panthers.com here, and so welcome.
Deems May.
One and all.
Yep, we got a lot. Deems May is here.
Oh, Deems May. Yeah, I heard Deems May was here too.
He's right there. Right there.
There he is.
Yep, he's at the Mike Dunleavy table. All right, should we roll the highlight video?
Yes.
All right, pay attention. Be a quiz in a minute.
You know, a couple years back coming out for the draft, this was a place that I had hoped to end up. So it's funny how things go and come full circle. And you know, I'm just happy to be a part of it and look forward to helping the best I can.
It is caught at the 10, the 5, touchdown, Greg Olsen.
Kind of a guy who's just good. He's a special player to watch.
Peterson to throw, lobs it to Olsen, circus catch, yes, touchdown.
Takes one win, nothing more we can ask for. Do your job, don't let the guy next to you down. We win one game and we're on the path to win the whole thing. This is where it starts, right here.
Cam Newton throws a pass, Olsen end zone, caught, touchdown! Yes! Oh my goodness! What an unbelievable respect-taking road win.
They air it out for Olsen down the field.
78 yards. He's not the biggest tight end, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but you might say he's the best going right now.
I see that.
The Olsen family has turned heartbreak into hope, and they're just getting started.
With the 9th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Luke Kuechly, linebacker, Boston College.
How you guys doing?
Luke Kuechly is a beast. Tremendous instincts. The legend of Luke Kuechly just keeps growing and growing and growing.
AP Defensive Player of the Year.
Luke Kuechly. Up in the pocket, throws intercepted. Luke Kuechly at the 48-yard line.
Hey, that's on you guys. That's on you guys. Good job.
Four-man pressure, and Wilson in trouble. Flicks it out of the backfield. Picked off Kuechly. Angling right, 10, 5. Touchdown! Oh, they're going crazy up here. My man, Luke Kuechly. Welcome to the most important game in the history of Bank of America Stadium.
Never the right time to step away, but now is the right time for me, and it's a tough decision. I've thought about it a lot, and I think now is the right chance for me to move on.
All I can say is it's definitely great to be here and just be looking forward to seeing what I'm going to be as a company.
Thomas Davis erases him at the 10-yard line.
His ability to diagnose plays is uncanny.
Davis picks it off, and it's intercepted. Lots of pass intercepted.
We fly around, we hit people in the mouth. That's what we do.
Boom! You saw it and you heard it. My goodness. The Carolina Panthers are going to Super Bowl 50. Congratulations.
That's how you do it.
It's the winner of the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, Thomas Davis.
Let's take charge. Dare to be different. Let's show these kids how much we care about them. Let's give the media something positive to talk about. Let's step up and be a village of guys that make a difference. Let's change this world.
Most of you know that the great 88, Greg Olsen, could not be here today, dealing with some health issues related to his son TJ, born with left heart syndrome and needing some attention from his dad. More about that when Luke and TD joined Jim and me here at the podium. But now let's meet about 500 pounds of violent NFL linebacker. First, we're going to go in oldest first. So a long time ago out of Shellman, Georgia, came a linebacker, first picked by the Panthers in the 2005 NFL Draft, noted for his toxicity to enemy ball carriers, receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. Tremendous, exquisite set of physical tools, but off the field, one of the classiest ambassadors for NFL football in general and the Carolina Panthers in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 16-year NFL veteran and one of the Panthers' all-time favorite sons, Thomas Davis Sr. Panthers' first selection, as you heard Roger Goodell say, in the 2012 NFL Draft, a linebacker from out of Boston College named Luke Kuechly. One time I ran into Frank Beamer. It was actually that spring, a few weeks after the Panthers had drafted Luke Kuechly, and I went up to Coach Beamer, longtime coach of Virginia Tech, and said, "Coach, what are the Panthers getting in Luke Kuechly?" And he looked at me and he said, "Son, in 35 years of coaching football, I've only gone across the field one time to congratulate an opposing player who single-handedly kicked our ass, and that was Luke Kuechly." So you all know the story. The divine 59, 8 years as a Carolina Panther. 7 of those, he made the Pro Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Luke August Kuechly.
Guys, thank you both for being here. And as you know, and you saw in the highlight video, Greg Olsen part of this today as well. And there is a $10,000 honorarium that's going to his charity. But wanted to get both of you guys just start remembrances of the teammate Greg Olsen, but with the family and TJ and so forth. And TD, of course, your retirement coincided with his, the two of you kind of doing that as a tandem. So when I say Greg Olsen, what are some of the things that come to mind to you?
Man, family man, passionate, a guy that just loves this community. He loves his family, and for Greg not to be at this event today, it took a situation like TJ is going through right now, because Greg is a guy that's always dependable, that always show up, and our hearts go out to the family, especially TJ, with him being the kid that he is, born with that. He's been dealing with it in his entire life, and he's one of the strongest kids that we all know, and he's going to continue to fight. We know that he's going to pull through this, and our hearts and prayers go out to the Olsen family. What about you, Luke? Same question.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my football career I've had the fortune of having good people around me, Thomas being absolutely one of them. I've talked about that a lot before, but the one thing that I think is super important in football is your off-season training. And after my rookie year, I went back to school, and then after that I came down to Charlotte, and Greg took me under his wing and showed me how he prepared and how he trained and how he got ready for an NFL season, how he changed his workouts from year to year depending on, I need to work on this, I need to improve here, I need to get stronger here. So I think, obviously everybody sees Greg for what he is on the field is an all-time tight end, a guy that played at a high level for a long time, reliable, consistent, great leader, really calming presence, and a great teacher. And then like Thomas, he's just like Thomas off the field. He's got his passions that are, his family, the community, and then everybody has a passion that they believe in. And for Greg, it's the situation, Greg and Kara, the situation that they have with TJ. And I think the biggest thing is for everybody now. I think there's a lot of power in prayer and thinking about people. And, I think that's the biggest thing we can do for them right now is think about them. I think that's the biggest thing, even if you think about them a little bit throughout the day. I think that goes a long way. So TJ's a powerful guy. Greg and Kara and their whole family are strong, same as TJ. So he's going to pull through it, but I think the more we can think about it, the more we can think about TJ and that whole Olsen family, to have him in our thoughts and prayers. I think that's just probably the best thing everybody can do. It's something short, sweet, and easy, and I think it goes a long way.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to ask questions, have a conversation here, then towards the end we're going to open it up and let you ask some questions. So have some of those in mind as we move forward. And TD, taking you back to your retirement day, all that emotion with you and Greg and your families up there, and you've had some time to reflect upon that now. What did that day mean to you as you look back at it now, kind of a month or two away from that now?
It was a special moment, to be able to be back in the building, in that facility. The Panthers organization did a tremendous job of making me and Greg feel welcome back home. And, to just get to share that day, not only with Greg, but with all of the people that showed up, all of the guys that, sent in videos. I mean, knowing that we were still in the midst of a pandemic and for them to be able to put that on, it was truly a special day for me and my family.
Luke, you were a pro scout for the Carolina Panthers for a year and recently resigned that position. I'm not aware that you've spoken about why exactly you resigned and what factors did conspire to cause you to want to step down from that position.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You think you understand the game and what goes into building rosters and transactions and week-to-week build-up of rosters during the season, but until you get upstairs, you don't really realize all that goes into it, from the waiver wire every day to having different boards, how injuries on your team affect this year with COVID. If a guy's a close contact, he can't play, so then what's our practice squad look like? You got to elevate guys. And then I was able to go through free agency and kind of see how they stack the board, how we look at guys. Maybe we have a guy that's a really good big long corner, but he doesn't fit our system. So I'd look at a guy and be like, this guy's really good, but then we'd come over here and they'd be like, he's great and we like what he does, but he doesn't fit what we do. So there's so much that goes into it that I really appreciated and learned a lot. And I love the game of football, and for me, I had the opportunity to watch different guys throughout the league, watch different skill sets, watch different offenses and defense. Because when you're playing, you watch, I don't know, my math's bad, around 12 or 13 different teams throughout the year because you play your division twice. So when I was a scout, you get to watch the whole league. So it was cool to see, Andy Reid to Kyle Shanahan to the guys in our division and how they run their offense as well as the defenses. But I think a lot of people know I like the outdoors. I love to hunt and fish, and a lot of that has to do in the fall. So it's kind of hard to, it's hard to do both. So I feel like I still have the opportunity. There's a bunch of trips that I've always wanted to go on with some friends and family and my dad and brothers and stuff that now I'm going to have the opportunity to do that. So that's really the thing now. It's I played football for my whole life, and I love the game, and I love everything about it, and I love the Panthers organization, but it's just one of those things. There's a couple things I want to cross off, and hopefully I have the chance to do that this year. So that's the reason, man. I love the organization. I love the direction it's going in. We've got some really good players that the team's brought in and drafted well, and I'm excited for this year. I think we're in really good shape.
So Luke, we'll keep it with you for just a minute. You kind of led into it a little bit there, but you're beyond hunting and fishing. Is there anything else you're kind of thinking about, maybe career-wise? And we've seen guys come back, like Rob Gronkowski. If you got a favorable medical report in the future, is there any chance you would consider playing football down the road again?
No, I'm done playing football. I love the game. I wish I was still playing. But you know what? Sometimes, you just got to move on. But I'm just trying to figure it out, one day at a time. I'm not going to try to rush into anything. I love Charlotte. I love being down here. So I'm just going to kind of take my time and see what pops up.
Continuing on about transitions, TD, you played with the Chargers and then Washington after your Panther career before retiring. What's the process been like for you to go from NFL football player, pro athlete, to try to transition into to being a mere mortal?
It's been good. Like one of those situations where I'm not really trying to rush into anything. I'm kind of learning from Luke, learning the ropes. How to navigate this retired life. And, I have 4 kids at home, and they are keeping me extremely busy. I have my son TJ here with me right now, and let me tell you about TJ's weekend, right? And what my days go to. So Friday, TJ has 7-on-7 tournaments or a basketball game. Then Saturday morning, we wake up. We go to a 7-on-7 tournament. We leave there, go to a track meet. We're at the track meet for 4 hours. We leave the track meet and go play 4 AAU basketball games. This was last weekend. And then we wake up on Sunday and we go right back to 7-on-7. So that's what my retired life looks like so far. They're keeping me busy.
You're working
and
harder now than you did when you were playing.
And there's just one kid, not the three other kids that also are involved in track. And my daughter, who just came home from her second year in college, who's only 19 years old. So,
has TJ or one of your sons ever back talked to you? And if so, how did that work out?
Listen,
they know better than that.
Listen, my kids know better than that. Right, TJ? Well, TJ's been challenging me in basketball because I think he's looking at the retired thing that's been attached to my name, and he may think I'm a little old, but right now I'm still currently 8-0 in horse versus TJ. 8-0, but he always come with an excuse. My shoulder hurt. I'm tired. But he continues to beg me to play. So I don't ever take it easy on my kids. Just like I didn't take it easy on Luke when we were out there competing.
TJ, did you know you'd be such a big part of this show today? It's kind of like about TJ today. So Luke, you're with the team last year, first year under Coach Matt Rule. Just to kind of bring us up to where we are with the Panthers today. What did you like, and what should we be looking for this year for what you've seen of the Panthers and what they're putting together?
I think our young talent right now is really good. I think we've got, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you got Shaq, and then we picked a guy up, Daquan Jones, a D tackle. I think he's a really good player. So we got a couple older guys there, and then you look around the young guys on the defense. You look at Brian and Chin, and Dante's still young, and then we drafted J.C. Horn, which that's what you want in a corner: big, long, athletic, rangy, fast. You just check boxes for days. We've got a lot of good young talent on the defensive side of the ball, and the same thing on the offensive side. I think, we'll get Christian back, DJ and Robbie. We got a couple tight ends that I think are going to be good players in the offensive line. I think got shored up in free agency as well as the draft. So I'm excited, man. I think, last year was such a difficult year, especially for Coach coming in, being so unique, how to meet guys, the virtual OTAs. Training camp was different because the first few weeks of training camp was all learning because we had no OTAs. It's like he was playing all year with the arm tied behind his back, and he never makes excuses, which I appreciate about him. And I think we're going to be in really good shape. Just talking with some of the guys that are still on the team, I think everybody's very excited about the position we are, especially you get Sam in, you got Christian back, you got two wide receivers. We drafted well. We picked up another receiver in the draft that, we wouldn't have drafted him if Joe Brady didn't like him, because Joe was in LSU the year before he got here, so obviously he knows who he is, so he feels confident in his ability. So you look around our team, we're fast, we're young, we're athletic, and I think all these guys are hungry to show that we're going to be good again this year.
Any of you, show of hands, watch any of our draft coverage on Panthers.com?
Good plug, Mick.
So we asked Thomas Davis to try to make broadcasting look really difficult, but he did not comply. Natural-born communicator, and he was a prominent part of our draft coverage with Kristen Balboni on Panthers.com. TD, you got a lot of the draft picks right. It seemed like you really like this draft. Is that accurate? And if so, what do you like about it?
I definitely like this draft because when you look at it, I think just based on the way the Panthers season went last year, they drafted for positions of need. And you look at the cornerback position, when you look at the first-round pick in J.C. Horn, he's a kid that you absolutely need in this division. When you look at the other guys that we're going to be facing, you look at Tampa Bay, you look at Mike Evans, you look at New Orleans, you look at a Michael Thomas. Now that Julio is out, possibly leaving Atlanta, that would have been the guy that we would have faced in Atlanta. So you got to have a corner that can get in these guys' face, that can compete. And I think J.C. Horn is a great pickup for us and what he's able to do. And then you add Marshall after losing Curtis last year. He's going to come in and shore up that wide receiver spot. So just looking forward to seeing what these guys are going to do now that they're in the building and now that they're learning the system. And, I think the sky's the limit for this team.
So, Thomas, for you, as Mick said, 16 years in the league, and then you go to the Chargers for a year, and then you reunite with Ron Rivera with Washington last year. Not the kind of season you personally wanted to have, but did that bring some closure, getting back together with Ron and being able to go out of this league on your own terms?
Yeah, Washington definitely gave me all the closure that I needed to know that it was time for me to retire. I can tell you that for sure. But, it was good, though. It was good, just to have that opportunity to be around Coach Rivera in that space, and just seeing him in a new environment, and just really being there for him with everything that he was dealing with personally, going through the cancer treatments and just being a part of that organization, and knowing that he's building something special, because we know what kind of Coach Rivera is, and he's gotten all of the guys on that team to buy into what he's teaching them. They were able to win the division last year, having the opportunity to even go play for the Chargers. I made it very clear that I never wanted to put on another uniform and play for another team, but at the same time, I didn't want to be forced into retirement, because I feel like I had some years left in me, and I was able to go and get 100+ tackles for the Chargers, and just kind of prove what I was saying, that I could still play the game. And now that I'm sitting here retired, I can sit back and look at my career and just be proud of what I've been able to do as a person, as a player, and hopefully this community and this organization can appreciate some of the things that we've been able to do for them as well.
Luke, you were known when you played as a very astute, savvy studier of the game. So what would your scouting report on Panther head coach Matt Rule be like if you were to try to describe him to this audience?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think he's very passionate about the game. I think he's super – he takes a lot of pride in situations of the game. And I think, with all the information and data that we have now, I think that's really, end of game situations, how to use timeouts, the analytics portion, when to kick field goals. We played Green Bay last year, and there was a really interesting example. I hope I get it right. We had like 2 timeouts or 1 timeout, but we had a 2-minute warning. So if we went down and used the 2-minute warning and scored a touchdown, Green Bay would have been able to run the clock out. So I think we were down like 8 or I think 9 probably, so it would have been 2 scores. We go down, we kick a field goal down 9, saying that, hey, we need to get 2 scores. We have to get them. In order to stop the clock, we have to kick this field goal now. So what we did is we kicked the field goal, made the field goal. We put our onside team on there. They anticipated an onside. We hit like a really good ball down to like the 1 or the 2 yard line. Joey kicked a great ball, and then we got to stop, and then we had the ball back with might even had a timeout left to go back down and score to win the game. So I think that stuff is what he does a really good job of. Does a lot of things really well, but you don't see that, in a press conference. You don't see it on a day-to-day basis just looking at him, but his ability to play in situations is huge, and if you can handle the game right and your timeouts and the clock correctly, you can steal possessions, you can milk possessions. And that game against Green Bay was a really good example of him understanding the situation, talking about it before the game, and then all that stuff's easy, but to be able to execute it is huge, and we did exactly what we wanted to. We kicked a field goal, we got the ball back with time, and had an opportunity to get out there and score. So that's just one example and a tidbit of what he's been able to do and how he thinks about the game and stuff like that. So it was fun.
TD, what about you? What do you see when you look at our new head coach or our second-year head coach now?
Just having the opportunity to meet Coach Rule and be around him for the little time that I've been around him. Like Luke said, I think he's a fiery guy. He's passionate. He's one of those college coaches, so he's extremely hard on the guys, which I think translates well into guys playing hard and to getting victories. So I think that's something that's gonna actually happen this year. I think guys as they've bought into the system, and now they have that opportunity with OTAs and mini camp to really get in and be together and develop that camaraderie that they need to win. I think he's gonna be real successful for this organization.
Let's take you guys back to your careers and on the field as teammates and let you each have a chance to talk about the other one. We talked about Greg Olsen before, but Luke, first for you about Thomas, and then Thomas about Luke. Maybe a moment in a game, a play, a game, just anything, a moment when you think about Thomas, and maybe you're doing a rotary speech, one of those kind of things like a touchdown club like this. What's a Thomas Davis story that you might tell?
We could be here all day. So I remember when I got there, Thomas came in, introduced himself to me, and was like, hey, I'm Luke, and he said, hey, I'm Thomas, take my phone number down, text me if you need anything. I was like, yeah, whatever, like, he's just saying that. Then I texted him, he texted me right back. I asked him a question, he answered it right away, and I think the best thing that Thomas did for me, he showed me how to do everything. how to compete, how to practice hard, how to be tough, how to treat players, how to build a relationship with guys in the team, how to treat people off the field, how to incorporate the community and really be effective as a football player and to use his platform. He did all of that stuff like great. So when I first got there, we were going through OTAs, and Beeson was coming off an Achilles. I think Thomas was coming off a knee. And everybody's like, wait till you see Thomas run. He's so fast. He's so explosive. He'd crush his drills. He's like the best player ever. I'm like, awesome, sick. So we go out there the first practice. We're going through drills. I'm like, this guy is so slow. And I'm like, this guy's not very good. Like, I don't know what the deal is. And then we get in the training camp, and he's like going like 25%. I'm like, oh yeah, he's good and doing this and that. And then we played the Jets, the third preseason game, and he's playing will linebacker, and there was one defense that we had. If we got a formation, Thomas had as a running back, and he has a man-to-man, and Thomas blitzed through. It was a pass play. Thomas blitzed through and got a sack, and everyone's like, yeah, good job, Thomas. And I was like, this guy, he's pretty good. And I was like, I still don't see like the fast and the physical and like all this stuff. And to start the season, it was me, James, Thomas, and Beast. So it's four of us, and we had to try to figure out how to get everybody on the field. And everybody's like, I don't know how Thomas is going to be coming off his knee. So we play Tampa down in Tampa, and we start the game, and that same situation popped up that happened with the Jets when Thomas got the sack and everyone was high-fiving him. Who knows what we're talking about? And so we get this formation, we get this set. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to get a sack. Thomas did the same thing. I run through, the guy like check releases, they throw the ball to him, they get like 50 yards. Everyone's screaming at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was trying to be like Thomas. So I realized like I'm not Thomas. And then I was like, because he wasn't playing as much because we had four guys, so there was a rotation. They put Thomas as a gunner on punt team. And I remember we were sitting on the bench, and Beeson's like, watch this. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm like watching TD, and they have like two guys on him, and they're jamming him. And all of a sudden, like the ball snapped, and TD's like 20 yards down the field. I was like, holy smokes, like they're right. And then the guy catches the ball, and Thomas just like decapitates him. And Beeson was like, I told you. I'm like, this guy's sick. And then I remember as the season progressed, like everyone was kind of looking at each other like, why is it like? And then Thomas started all the other games, and then I was just stupid and a young guy and like naive and thought I knew everything. And Thomas was just explosive, fast, powerful, competitive. You check like he's like J.C. Horn, just check all the boxes. So like I've got a million stories, but I remember when I first got there, I'm like, this guy's a good dude. He's really nice. He's got huge hands. Like he almost broke my hand when he shook it. And then I saw him that first game. I'm like, all right, that's an NFL linebacker. And I got smoked that game, Mick, and I thought I was going to get cut. So luckily Thomas was a good dude and helped me out.
All right, Thomas, story time.
Sorry, Thomas.
How do I follow that?
You remember that play, though, right?
I do remember that play. But so when Luke got drafted, right, I was just coming off of my third ACL tear consecutively. And in my mind, they just drafted this dude to replace me. So I'm like, man, I don't like this dude, man. But when Luke first came into the building and you instantly meet this guy, he's a guy that makes it extremely hard not to like him. One of the best men, one of the best players you'll ever meet. He's a guy, and I tell people this all the time, that as a father with daughters, he's a guy that you want your daughter to bring home to meet you. And when you think about him as a football player, man, he's one of the most competitive, one of the smartest guys that you'll ever meet in your life. He absolutely helped me elevate my game, elevate my play. People look at the way, in the course of my career and the way that it went, and a huge part of it was because I had the opportunity to play alongside this guy. Before the injuries, I was okay. After the injuries, 2013, 3 consecutive ACLs, 3 consecutive Pro Bowls. And I attribute a large part of that to being able to play with him, to being able to practice against him. And I say practice against him, y'all thinking like, you both played on defense, so what do you mean practice against him? So every day in practice, every day in off-season workouts, didn't matter what it was, me and Luke always competed against each other. That competition level, I feel like, made both of us better players. We would be in games, and one of the most fondest memories that I have, we were playing the New Orleans Saints, and we was fighting for a chance to win the division, and it was a rain-soaked game. Thankful for the rain because we was going against Drew Brees. But me and Luke, like I told you, we compete. We try to see who's going to get the first interception. We try to see who's going to get the first big hit. We try to see who's going to make the most tackles. I think at halftime I had like 12 tackles. And I looked over at Luke. I said, man, I'm kicking your ass right now.
We didn't even care about the game. I was like, I'm just trying to beat Thomas.
Listen, we were winning the game. I'm like, you better step up because I'm kicking your. And then literally the fourth quarter starts, and we playing the game, we're winning. I had gotten an interception right after I got an interception.
They set that play up so you could get a pick. They were like,
right
force
after
feed
I
you
got
interception.
Right after I got an interception, Luke got jealous. He went and got an interception. And I ended up with 14 tackles. Luke ended up with 26. So I tell people all the time, I tell the story, I'm like, man, me and Luke had a game, we had 40 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a sack. I never tell him that he was the one with 26 tackles. But, just being around this dude, man, his personality is infectious. He's a guy that absolutely made, not only me, he made everybody around him a better player. And, a big part of that was his film study, his ability to dissect what offenses were doing. If you look at the NFL Top 100, every single person that, from an offensive standpoint, that has ever talked about Luke Kuechly always speak highly of him, always talk about, his ability to understand and know whatever the offense is doing before they get ready to do it. And people always asking me, like, how was he able to do that? His dedication to understanding and knowing what he needed to know as a player by staying and doing the extra work that nobody got to see. Everybody got to see and cheer and yell Luke when he made big plays, but people didn't see that he was staying at the facility until 8 or 9 o'clock at night when everybody else was going home, standing there watching film, doing all the extra, doing all the little things that me, as a father of 4, I couldn't do. I couldn't stay over there and tell my kids that, yeah, I'm at the stadium watching film with Luke. So, he would send me stuff, and, we would watch film together while I was there, and we would pick up on some things. And it was special, though, because we had times in games where we would mess things up at the same time, and we would be on the same page and not even talk about it. Like, I would let a guy slip out into the flats or across the middle right into Luke, or he would do the same thing, and we didn't even talk about it, and it wasn't designed that way but we worked so much together and so hard together that we just kind of had an understanding that it was just, we couldn't even explain it.
It would just work out. I mean, like, this guy, yeah. They'd be like, why do you guys do that? And we'd be like, I don't know, we just did it.
Man. Just put it in the playbook, man. We drew that up. And it was just one of those things, man, but when you think about a tandem, you think about a group working together, man, I couldn't ask for a better person to be next to me out on that field and going to battle week in and week out, man. He was just a phenomenal person, man. And when you look at the course of his career and you think about, him retiring at an early age or early, I couldn't have been more excited or more happy to hear that he was retiring when he did, man. Just dealing with everything that he had gone through from a head trauma standpoint, and we know the repercussions and the things that come from that, man. So I don't think I ever even told you that, man, but I'm extremely proud of what you've been able to do as a player and as a person. And man, hats off
my
to
guy.
you, brother.
We did have a lot of fun, though.
What we should do is just end this right here, right now. And we are going to try to get you out of here by 1:30. But the format calls for a few minutes of audience Q&A. So make your
real
voices.
quick, too, Mick, before we go to that, Shout out to Charles Johnson, man, out in the stands, another Panther great, man. I'll be looking around, Charles with the pink shirt on. Charles Johnson put a lot of work in, man, and making sure that we were a real successful defense, man, and he was another one of our leaders, man, so shout out to Charles.
Chuck just took all the blocks up so TD and I could run around and tackle people.
Yeah, he used to get mad about it.
Thanks, Chuck.
Good words. Good seeing you, Charles. All right, maybe Charles has a question for our
Chuck, you want to come up?
Charles should go first.
Come on up.
Come on, Chuck, we got another mic.
We can hear you right here.
Stand up.
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can do it from there.
Don't get nervous. Yes, sir.
We both can't make it, so it doesn't matter.
Both of y'all got ugly shots, though. I got a better jump shot.
I think TJ beat you on horse. You're going to tell everybody.
Let's go out in the hall and get in the big fight and just settle this. That'd be great.
No, Chuck will win.
Let's see if anybody has any questions for Luke Kuechly or Thomas Davis. Yes, ma'am.
So I think for that team, what made that team so special, we weren't the most talented team. Like, if you look across the board, there have been a lot of Panther teams that absolutely had more talent. But I think we came together as a team from a camaraderie standpoint. Like, we had so much fun that year. That's the most fun that I've ever had playing football in my entire life. We competed day in and day out, starting in training camp. Like, the trash talk was on another level. It was special. Like, literally, me and Cam used to go at it all the time. Cam and Josh went at it all the time. And it just made for a special group, man. And we just had a ton of momentum with us. And we had a really good defense that flew around, that didn't take anything from nobody. We just went out and we just did everything that we needed to do as a group to be successful, man. And I think that team was truly special because of the people that were on it.
I think Thomas is right. I think you look at that team, and I think that team was a group of older guys that understood what it took. And you look at the leaders on our team that year. It was, Thomas was in the linebacker room. We had Chuck in the D-line room with Dwan Edwards. In the DB room, we had Roman Harper and Kurt Coleman, and then we had Peanut that year. You look on the offensive side of the ball, the QB room was a veteran group. It's D.A. and Cam. Offensive line had Ryan. Greg was in the tight end room. The receivers had Jericho Kochery. You look at the running backs, it was Stu and Tolbert, and we had Fozzie Whitaker, who was a younger player but just a vet. And like Thomas said, we had so much fun. But when it was time to practice and time to prepare and time to be in meetings, everybody was dialed in. So we had a really good dynamic of working, having fun. And guys, like, at the end of the day, guys wouldn't go home. Guys would hang out in the locker room. Guys would shoot. We had these trash cans on each side of the locker room, and guys would play basketball with a huge tape ball at the end of practice. Like little kids all over again.
Yeah, and I was the best at that, too.
Yeah, TD always won.
For sure.
TD always won.
For sure, Chuck.
We had cheesing over there. But we had so much fun, and I think that's what the game's about. You look at all these teams that win the Super Bowl, everybody always says how fun it is. You look the last 10 years, it's always the teams that you get to have good players, you got to have good coaches, but you got to have fun. And I think Coach Rivera did an excellent job of playing with that fine line of you guys are going to work hard, you guys are going to have fun, and he let the older guys run the room from Thomas to Greg to Ryan to Charles. All the older guys set the tempo for what was acceptable and what the standard was, and then you had no choice but to live up to the standard. There wasn't any yelling at, berating, belittling. It was this is the standard and this is where we expect you to be. And there was pressure on young guys to be there. And I was in year 4, and I was still so young, but you see all these older guys doing it. Chuck was a really good player. Thomas was a really good player. Greg, Ryan, all those guys were in their second contract, Pro Bowls, did everything right, and they were held at this level for the right reason. And we had all the young guys that bought into that because they didn't have a choice. Either it was play to the standard of these older guys, or you're not going to play at all. So Coach understood that, and he was able to step on it when he needed to, but at the same time, he trusted the older guys, and I think that's what we all loved about Coach, is he had such a great pulse for the team.
It's getting close to time to wrap it up and get into the locker room. Maybe take one more question from the audience if there is one. If not, let's end it like this. Luke, you first.
She has a question.
Oh, she did? Oh, sorry.
He said, what was
favorite
my favorite
game you played?
My favorite game that I played? Ooh, that's a great question. My favorite game, I think that I played was, I'm sorry, but my favorite game was when we played Dallas Cowboys. We played Dallas Cowboys 2015 season, and before that game, we were 10-0 going into that game. Tony Romo had just come back, and all of these announcers and all of the publications was saying that Dallas was going to be the first team to beat us because Romo was back. And that didn't happen. We went out, we took Romo back out. Luke caught 2 interceptions, took one to the house, and yeah, that was my favorite game for sure. Because it was a nationally televised game. It was prime time. It was Thanksgiving, everybody was watching us, and we ended up 11-0 after that game.
That whole year was just fun.
You can feel it in your guys' words. Okay, let's end it like this. Luke, you first, then TD. Luke, how do you want to be remembered as a Carolina Panther?
As having a better jump shot than Charles. There he is. I think what a lot of guys, Thomas would probably say a similar thing. I think you want to be remembered as a good teammate. Strictly on the football side, I think you want to be considered a good teammate, a guy that was there for people, a guy that played hard, a guy that was tough, a guy that took the game seriously. And, that's your job, and I think you should treat it like that. It's the best job in the world. You get to go hang out with your buddies all day and play football. And I think for me, when you look back, it's like, what was Luke? And I think it's a great teammate that loved the game, appreciate all the fans, and that's what made it so fun for us was having the fans. I think, you talk to guys that played this year. Without the fans, there's not the energy, there's not the passion, both when you're on the road and at home. You don't have that same feel, and that's what makes the game special is the fans and your guys' support and the camaraderie around the city. So we're going to be remembered as a good teammate, but also we appreciate you guys and the support you guys have shown us both in good times and bad times, and really just the energy around the city and in both the North and South Carolina, especially during training camp. I think that's the one that no one really talks about, man. Training camp's hard, it's hot, it's miserable. Like, you got to play against this. I got to go against Ryan Khalil for like 3 weeks in a row. I'm just like, bro, like, stop. But the fans up on that hill and lining the fence, man, that makes it so much more fun. And I think that's what's special about the Carolinas is the fan support and how much energy and support you guys have shown us. So thanks.
TD?
I think for me, when I look back on my career, I always wanted to be remembered as a guy that gave it his all. If I can walk away from the game when everybody knew that about me, I gave everything that I had to the organization that I was a part of. You want to be remembered as a defensive player, as tough, physical, hard-nosed. Those are the things that when you turn the page and you look at what I was able to do, that's how I want to be remembered. I know for a fact that I gave everything that I had. I overcame a lot of adversity, You know, I didn't let anything stop me from accomplishing or doing the things that I wanted to do. And I know that there are a lot of kids that may be going through some things. There are a lot of grown people that may be going through some things right now. You may be facing some adversity. You may be looking at some situations that you just don't feel like in your life you can overcome. I'm a living example, man, that you can overcome any and everything that you put your mind to. I'm a firm believer in that. My situation was dire, man. 3 ACL tears consecutively, and at that point, I just knew that my career was over with. But I never lost faith. I never gave up. I persevered. I was given an opportunity, and I took advantage of it. That's how I want to be remembered.
Can y'all give it up for Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis?
Guys, thank you. We got a pretty good linebacker coming next time, too. Mike Singletary will be here June the 18th. And thank you one more time to Char Bar 7, Hickory Tavern, for TD, Luke, Mick. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you. Good job.